Hello, everyone. It's Kissy. I'm back with another message. So, it seems the energies had me very studious for a moment. So, and interestingly enough, a topic that seems very basic, interacting with others. So, let me just light up my incense real quick. Trying to get it. And it's not quite lighting up. Why? It's like it's... Did I wet it by mistake? No, I did not. Just required a lot of... Okay. A little more time. It required a little more time to light up. So that could be a message, folks. Considering the energies, of course. So, here's the topic that actually came up, and it came out like a little mini lecture, which I don't want to do lectures. They feel very fake to me, like very practiced. But I just wrote it out as instructed by Spirit, so I'll let it come through as it did, just as it did. So, interacting with others. At first meeting, if you sense what isn't said or done. So this is at your first meeting someone. Now this could be like a love interest, for example. This is, I think that was the best example. Meeting someone, like the first time you meet them, right? You meet someone that you like, you vibe with, like, or not even vibe with, somebody that attracts you, someone that attracts you. So you meet someone, you're attracted. Now this could also be in the friend zone. This doesn't have to be just romantically, but let's say you meet someone that you're like, oh my God, I like this person. I like this person. Let me get to know them. So you start interacting, right? So at first meeting, if you sense what isn't said or done, you get a sensation of something that isn't being said or that something is off. You know that something is off, but what is it? So you get a sense. You meet somebody, you're conversating, you get a hit. You get this something hits you like, oh, what just happened here? It makes you think something is off. The problem in that moment would be not saying what you pick up on or retracting when there's a negative reaction. So let's say maybe somebody, everything was flowing really nicely, and then all of a sudden they made like a strange comment, or their vibe just suddenly shut off, or like turned cold or turned weird on you, right? Something weird like that. The solution would be to speak up, not confrontationally, but inquisitively. Why does it feel like you just like shut down? Why does it feel like you are suddenly mad? Why does it feel like suddenly you tuned me out? Whatever, something feels off, right? So whatever the question might be, but you ask it inquisitively. Why does it feel? Because it's you that's feeling it. What did you mean by? What did that mean? What do you mean by that? Now you're asking because you want a response. So you're going to allow them to respond. Give them the space to respond. You're not asking in confrontation because you're on attack mode. You're defensive. What do you mean by that? Offended. So now I got to wonder, like you're not attacking them. It's not a confrontation. It's an inquisitive way of asking, because what you're really trying to do is discover, what is this? I felt something, a sensation that is off. This feeling feels off to me. Now, if the reaction is negative, you're not going to retract. Basically, what you're going to do is you're going to double down on your own knowing. It doesn't mean you're backing down, and it doesn't mean that you're reacting now, getting yourself negative and defensive. It means, oh, you're reacting negatively, meaning you're getting abrasive, or you're getting bothered, or you're getting aggressive, like me asking, why does it feel like when you said that, like something was off? What's off about this? Are you upset? Because that's what you're doing. You're not going to guess, are you mad? Are you this? Are you that? Be like, why does it feel like it's off, leaves it more open to allow them to respond. Something feels off. You're not lying. Something feels off. So, if the reaction is negative, don't retract, double down on your knowing. But the reaction itself, that is a flag. The defense is actually a clue. And the evasion is a problem. Because that sense of something being off is the point where you are aware and they are aware, but refuse to acknowledge. You heard that? That sense that something is off is the point where you became aware and they are aware. In other words, we both picked up on this sensation, meaning it's a ting, it's a ping, it's a ding in your energy field. You got a ping, you got a hit. What is that? But why? Why this feeling that feels off, and why this is a point where you're aware and they're aware. The reason I have to emphasize that they are also aware but refuse to acknowledge, because sometimes we think, am I the only one that felt this? No, you're not. The fact that you felt that was the ping, was the connection, was the string that attaches you to that person's energy field in the first place, is what brought you into a connection in that first meeting in the first place. It's what brought you into a connection. That ping is where you're attached to one another. All right, but that's just anyway. But why? But why are they aware but refuse to acknowledge it? Well, don't try to figure out why for them. It's not about them at this moment. Don't try to figure out, oh, I got this ping. I got this feeling that something's off. And all you do is, the only question you could ask is, I just felt, you're not even asking them why, but you can say, I just felt like something is off, or I just feel like something is off between us. Because it's between us, not off with me, not off in the world. I feel like something is off between us. Now, I know I said at first meeting, and you could be like, if I just met you and I just started talking to you, like, why would I think why would something tell me something's off right away? Well, when you first meet them, you have little bias. You don't have a lot of biases towards this person if you're first meeting them, right? It's like a first interaction. You just get a vibe, like, why else are we meeting? You know what I mean? Like, you're at a gathering, or you're in an event, or you're at a restaurant, wherever the hell you are, and you meet someone, but something triggers you to get to know them a little deeper, is where I'm going at with interacting with others. It's not a typical first meeting, like, oh, okay, hi, all right, nice to meet you, bye. It's something makes you want a little more, that you want to take this first meeting a little longer or further, or go a little deeper. We're talking about, this could be romantic. You're out somewhere, and somebody, you gaze eyes with someone, and suddenly they look at you, you look at them, you're attracted to one another. You know, the person approaches, hi, my name is, and you're, oh, hi, nice to meet you. You get into a tiny little conversation, but in that process, everything's going well, and you might have said something, did something, something is occurring, and all of a sudden you get an off feeling. Okay, we're not talking about off with, oh, the weather suddenly shifted. I think we have a tornado here at the beach. We got to go. Okay, no, that's just, again, just visuals that I get when I talk. You're interacting with another with an expectation of, reciprocity. So I think I'm getting ahead of myself. Hold on. But why? You're aware, but they refuse to acknowledge it. But why? Okay. Don't try to figure out why for them. Just know that in that moment, you got a hit. The fact that you addressed it and they reacted. The fact that you addressed it and they reacted, says that this is something for you to ponder. Because if you address and be like, oh, something just fell off, they'd be like, they can respond with like, oh, no, I got lost in your eyes. I don't know. Like, where it's not a negative, meaning they could have been off, but it's not something out of harmony. It's not that they're out. It's just something distracted them, or something. Am I giving away like ways for losers to manipulate God? Because I don't want to give people any opportunity to manipulate anyone. But the way I see it is, it's really always for you to ponder. You know, if something's off, they could be like, oh no, I was just distracted, or no, there was just, you know, oh, not at all. I'm totally into you, or I'm totally loving this conversation, or I'm totally vibing with you. And then you could be like, oh, okay, fine. And everything feels normal again, right? Everything is good. Like whatever you thought might have been off may not have been anything off. You just felt something deviate from the initial vibe. And that's normal. But the sense that something is off is a point, again, where you are aware and they are aware. When I say but refuse to acknowledge it, is because it's off. Something feels off. And if they react like, I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean off? And they get defensive, or they get bothered because you're bringing up something feels off. What feels off for you is that we're in harmony, and suddenly it feels out of harmony. And I'll go deeper into what I mean by that. Okay, you addressed it, they reacted, says something is off for you to ponder about for yourself, with yourself. In other words, okay, the universe gave you a ping. It triggered something. This person triggered a sensation in you that you sought validation from. So this trigger is a trigger. It's never just one-sided, firstly. So it's something that was triggered between the two of you. Things felt in harmony, and suddenly a trigger, boom, a sensation that something is off. But you're like, what's wrong? And you want to defer the question to that person. Or, I just felt this. Okay, that would be seeking the validation from them. You can seek that validation from them the first time. Hey, I just felt something off. Did you feel it too? Did you sense that? Or is there something you want to talk about? Are you off somewhere else, mentally, emotionally? Like, I feel you in a different vibe suddenly. That validation to tell you what that off feeling between you is. The expectation that people feel exactly how we feel is wishful thinking. And wishful thinking says, I hope we're feeling the same in this thing, whatever this conversation is, whatever this reason for us interacting is. I hope we feel the same in this thing, and that we're connecting on. By the same also, I'm not saying like, all I'm saying is, by the same, is in harmony, in agreement, in equal measure, in reciprocity. The sensation that is triggered by two beings can be acknowledged. Oh yeah, I felt that. Or it just acknowledges we're connected here. And so I know I felt something from you. I may not know what it means for you, but I feel you. I sense you. I can feel you. But how we feel about it could be very different, meaning that the off feeling means here's a space I've entered that you have also entered into. We both went into this space together. We were both into, hey, hi, how are you? We're both in that vibe of interest towards one another, of attraction towards one another. But in this space that you and I have both entered, in which I sense that you are now out of or off, now the question is why? Why were we in this space together, vibing, feeling good, and suddenly it feels off? It feels like you're out of this space, or it feels like you're off. You're turned off. You're no longer on in that space. What space, right? Depends. The space of I care for you, the space of I'm attracted to you, mostly. That space of why did that I'm attracted to you suddenly feel off? Okay, but why? Why, I asked? Why? The reason it becomes a matter of one with self is because two people can ignite a feeling that lay dormant in both. But how we assimilate it is based on our own ways of thinking, our own experiences, and how well we know ourselves. That's what will determine how that energy is applied by one, both, with or without each other. Meaning, before addressing them, address yourself. Assimilate the energy within yourself and allow space for the other to expose what they feel about the sensation you sensed is off. If they don't disclose their findings, we can speculate why they, all day, we can speculate why they this, why they that, why this, why that. Like in your own brain, you can wonder why that person is acting this way. You can do that all day. But that would be called forcing the issue. And that's based on expectations and wishful thinking that our vibe, this feeling of I'm attracted to you, that suddenly might have been turned off. This person just is no longer attracted to me. In this, like, you can tell when it's off. You could tell when somebody's like, hi, and oh, hey, hi, everything's great. And then all of a sudden, boom, shut down, off. You don't feel nothing. It turned off. Why? The feeling turned off. Why? You can sit there and argue all day. Wait, did I write more? I sure did write more, right? I sure did write more. Okay. That, the space created between us opened this up for a deeper connection. All right, back to what I was saying. Wait. If they don't disclose their findings, meaning if you decide to seek the validation from them, the validation being, I felt that we were connected, like we were going in this direction, and then suddenly I felt like it stopped, turned off, stepped out, moved away, closed off. What is that, right? What is that? If they evade it, if they react to it, any of the negatives that I mentioned earlier, that would be you forcing the issue. That's you. And if, let's say, you decide not to talk about it and just, mull over what just happened here, wonder, all you're doing there is speculating on what that feeling is for you, waiting for them to tell you what it is for you. So the space created between us, meaning the two people, opened you up for a deeper connection, because the moment you became attracted to one another and you approach one another and you connect with one another, you're creating a space for depth, a space for a deeper connection. But we presume that it means with each other. But free will dictate that everyone has freedom to choose to deepen a connection with you or not. They don't have to. They can be attracted to you and want to create a deeper connection with you, and right away realize, nope, never mind, I don't want to. And they don't have to explain themselves. Now, obviously, this is very right away, right? Like, I'm giving you like right away, in the moment that you just meet someone that you're attracted to. Ooh, nice. Obviously, not every dynamic gets a hit right away. Or not everyone is going to pay attention to the red flag right away. So this might be within a week, within 2 weeks, within a month, within a year, within 10 years. Some people don't wake up to the red flags or choose to ignore them for too long. But what are these flags? What is that off feeling? Again, we're talking about the off feeling. We presume it means that we're supposed to do this with each other, but free will dictates that everyone has freedom to choose who they want to deepen who they want to connect with deeper with, emotionally speaking. You may want to explore that space with that person, but if they close up, step out of that space that was created between you two, you will feel abandoned or unwanted and all those, negative feelings. Which is why when a sensation is triggered, a sensation gets triggered in you, it's best to focus on you, not the person who triggered it within you. That's the main message. Not the person that triggered it within you. Because the trigger itself tells you something is off. That means whatever was connecting us got turned off. You can waste your lifetime living with a person that's turned off to you and assume it has everything to do with you, or pretend it has nothing to do with you. But at the end of the day, when you picked up something was off and you didn't address it with yourself, you're subjecting yourself to that, for that trigger to become more powerful. And that trigger can eventually make you feel, if you attribute it to the other person, you can create an entire identity for yourself that says whatever you assumed the turn off was about. Can you imagine realizing that off feeling you get, the realization, if you assumed it had everything to do with you, the realization that it had nothing to do with you can liberate you. But if you assume it had nothing to do with you, it can destroy you. If you're the one that got triggered and didn't address it with yourself. Because ultimately what that trigger meant is that one or the other, if you're the one that's holding space for love and suddenly it feels off, but you're still holding space for love, then what was off had nothing to do with you. And if you're not holding space for love and something feels off, but you're not holding space for love, then you cannot complain when you're not feeling love. That's why you have to be responsible to hold space for love for yourself first, so that you can then invite people into your love space. And when they're off, you know it has nothing to do with you. They're off, and therefore you're able to release them to go deal with themselves instead of tarnishing your space that's on. And that's all, folks. I'll come back soon. Take care.